Keputusan bahawa nak masuk ke premis mereka mesti pakai pelitup muka, maka mestilah ikut kehendak pemilik premis.
Wearing masks is still mandatory for COVID-19 positive individuals or when using public transport, including e-hailing cars and school buses, as well as at health facilities such as clinics, hospitals and dialysis centres. Wearing masks indoors is also encouraged when at crowded places such as places of worship, stadiums and for high-risk individuals. The Health Ministry had already relaxed rules for wearing masks outdoors on May 1st.
Abolishing mandatory mask wearing is timely, as many have built immunity towards the virus. Commenting on the latest move is public health medicine specialist Dr. Tharani Loganathan.
I salute this decision. We have come a long way to reach this day. I mean, we live in a very different world today. Since when the virus was first discovered in the late 2019, today most Malaysians have some sort of immunity through vaccination, through boosters, through previous infections. So this immunity actually protects us from getting severe illnesses that requires hospitalization and ICU care. And also we have advanced so much more. I mean, we have tools like Paxlovid, the antiviral, that can be prescribed to adults experiencing COVID-19 symptoms, and caseloads and hospitalization and hospital facility utilization in Malaysia has plateaued, and we are actually in a very good place. So this decision actually returns the power to the people. So we get to determine our risk tolerance and to make choices about when to wear the mask, and without any fear of fines or retribution. So this is actually excellent and very timely. We look at this also, I mean, you could imagine the economic burden on families. And not everyone can afford this. This is an expensive policy for many people because it's what others has called a mask tax. You know, so I mean, you're paying a certain amount of money to just leave your house and go out.
To keep COVID-19 at bay, Dr. Tharani said face masks should still be worn by high-risk individuals and stressed the importance of good ventilation at premises.
People should do is people with higher risks of infection, those who are elderly, those who have comorbidities, should wear a mask. Okay. That being said, Malaysians have been living with this mask mandate now for almost 2 years, okay, or 2 years and more. And most of us are now socially conditioned to wear a mask, and we are afraid of not wearing a mask. Okay, so if you feel this sort of fear or hesitancy, do continue wearing a mask. Okay, but that being said, also employers, school management, business owners, and so on should continue to improve ventilation and safety in offices, in schools, and business premises. Okay, and those of us who are experiencing any symptoms of COVID, whether we are tested positive or not, should wear masks.
Discussing further on the matter tonight on Consider This, we asked our guests if easing the indoor mask mandate is sound policy. The government is also considering the purchase of a specific vaccine for the COVID-19 Omicron variant. However, Khairi said they may not be offered to all.
Jadi dalam konteks ini memang kita sedang pertimbangkan untuk membeli vaksin bagi varian Omicron dan juga vaksin-vaksin yang baru. Cuma dari segi bentuk program imunisasi itu, belum lagi kita buat keputusan sama ada mass vaccination campaign ataupun kita menawarkan kepada kumpulan tertentu sahaja.
Malaysia has so far offered 4 doses of the COVID-19 vaccines, 2 primary doses and another 2 booster jabs, to high-risk groups such as senior citizens and those with comorbidities. In September, the US Centre for Disease Control and Prevention endorsed the use of updated COVID-19 booster shots that are specifically tailored to combat the 2 most prevalent Omicron subvariants, BA4 and BA5. Dato' Sri Abdul Aziz Abdul Rahim has made another representation to the Attorney General's chambers in an effort to drop his corruption and money laundering charges. This is after he failed to strike out his 9 charges at the Court of Appeal.
The latest court representation was sent on Monday. The case mentioned has been scheduled for September 23rd, and a new hearing date will be set if the representation is rejected. A 3-judge panel previously ruled that the charges against Abdul Aziz were not defective and ordered the trial of the case to continue in the Sessions Court. However, the panel allowed the former Tabung Haji chairman's application to cancel 4 charges of money laundering. Abdul Aziz is facing 3 charges of accepting bribes amounting to 5.2 million ringgit and 6 charges of money laundering in relation to road projects in Perak and Kedah.
We will go for a quick break. Don't go anywhere.
Sehat ialah satu cara hidup. Cara untuk minum dengan baik, makan dengan baik, dengan bahan-bahan segar dan pelbagai cara yang sehat untuk memasaknya. Bakar, kukus, masak, campur, jus. Khas untuk semua amatur dan pakar. Gaya hidup sehat yang memasak di hujung minggu, menyihatkan badan dan jiwa. Hidup sehat setiap hari bersama Panasonic.
Panasonic. Ingin tahu bagaimana konsultan Unify Business boleh membantu Cindy kembangkan perniagaannya?
Jom Unify Business.
Ya, lihat bagaimana perniagaannya berkembang daripada sebuah kedai sehingga menjadi kedai pilihan ramai dengan penyelesaian perniagaan Unify. Transformasikan perniagaan dengan Unify Business, rakan digital pilihan anda. Hubungi kami sekarang dan jimat sehingga 50%. Jom Unify Business.
Peningkatan harga barangan yang dipengaruhi oleh pelbagai faktor mengakibatkan Malaysia juga terpaksa berdepan dengan tempias tersebut.
PDRM mengesahkan tidak menerima sebarang laporan penculikan dan juga penjualan organ kanak-kanak di negara jiran.
Filem Mat Kilau ini boleh saja dianggap biopik terhebat alaf ini.
Welcome back. In a major reshuffle after succeeding Boris Johnson as UK Prime Minister, as expected, Liz Truss has appointed her allies to top jobs in the cabinet. She finished appointing her top team last night and met with her senior ministers this morning.
Truss notably cleared out several ministers from Johnson's administration, including those who backed her leadership rival Rishi Sunak. Kwasi Kwarteng was appointed as Finance Minister, becoming the first black holder of the job. One of Truss's closest friends, Therese Coffey, was made Health Secretary and the first female Deputy Prime Minister. Meanwhile, James Cleverly became Foreign Secretary and Suella Braverman took the role of Home Secretary. Truss was appointed Prime Minister by Queen Elizabeth II yesterday after winning an internal election to lead the governing Conservative Party.
Facing the Parliament for the first time as leader today, Truss said she is against a windfall tax on oil and gas companies to support households and businesses facing soaring energy bills. She was quizzed by the opposition on her plans to tackle the growing energy crisis in the UK.
And I know that we have had strong support from the opposition in opposing Vladimir Putin's appalling war in Ukraine, and I want us to continue to stand up to that appalling Russian aggression that has led to the energy crisis we face now. I am against a windfall tax. I believe it is the wrong thing to be putting companies off investing in the United Kingdom just when we need to be growing the economy.
Meanwhile, US tech firms that receive state funds will not be allowed to build new manufacturing plants in China over the next 10 years. This comes under the Joe Biden administration's $50 billion plan to build up the local semiconductor industry.
The move is part of Washington's response to a long-running dispute over trade and technology with Beijing, and as business groups push for support from the government to reduce reliance on semiconductors imported from China. Just last week, the US banned tech giants Nvidia and AMD from shipping advanced computing chips to China. In August, Biden signed a law providing an additional $280 billion in funding for the US high-tech and research sectors. The investments include tax breaks for companies that set up computer chip manufacturing plants in the US. The country only produces about 10% of the world's supply of semiconductors, down from nearly 40% in 1990.
Russia's Vladimir Putin met with Myanmar junta chief Min Aung Hlaing today. During the meet, the two leaders hailed good ties among both the countries, despite tension with the rest of the world.
Min Aung Hlaing's visit to Russia comes as both governments face diplomatic isolation. Moscow for its aggression in Ukraine since February, and Naypyidaw for a military coup last year. As Moscow's ties with the West unravel over Ukraine, the Kremlin is seeking to pivot the country towards the Middle East, Asia and Africa. Putin met with the junta leader on the sidelines of the annual Eastern Economic Forum in Russia's far eastern port city of Vladivostok. He's also expected to meet other Asian leaders, including those from Mongolia and China.
Over in Vietnam, at least 23 people have died and 11 others injured after a fire at a karaoke complex in southern Vietnam. Investigators are still determining the cause of the fire.
The fire broke out on the upper floor of the establishment on Tuesday night, trapping several customers. About a third of the building, located in the Binh Duong province, had been on fire, and it took firefighters almost an hour to bring the blaze under control. Lax safety standards at karaoke venues have raised concerns in Vietnam. Last month, 3 firefighters died after attempting to extinguish a blaze at another karaoke bar in the capital of Hanoi.
The UN has warned that more intense heat waves and wildfires driven by climate change will worsen the quality of air, harming human health and ecosystems. This comes as countries across the globe report hottest temperatures in record.
A report by the UN's World Meteorological Organization revealed that the interaction between pollution and climate change would impact hundreds of millions of people over the coming century. It pointed out the interconnection of air quality and climate, as chemicals that worsen air quality are co-emitted with greenhouse gases. The WMO's annual Air Quality and Climate Bulletin examined the impacts of large wildfires across Siberia and Western North America in 2021, finding that they produce widespread increases in health hazards, with concentrations in eastern Siberia reaching levels not observed before.
That is all we have for you on AWANI tonight. I'm Fana Sheh. Thank you for watching.